And we're live, and welcome everyone to Violent Wrestling Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ambrose Sally, with one of my co-hosts, the infamous or famous, however you want to put it, Metal Matt.
Hello, everyone.
Mox is not with us tonight.
Boo.
Well, we'll try to get along without Mox, especially since I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I will say this. You did not miss much. And with SmackDown, you're probably better off not watching it.
It was that bad, huh?
It was bad. God, I don't even know what to say about it.
Well, it must be bad if you don't even have a rant about it.
I definitely have a rant about it, for sure.
Well, what's the rant? This is gonna be off the cuff tonight anyway.
Well, the whole big angle that they've been teasing for a bit it's basically Authority 2.0. That's really what it is. Like Vince comes out and really the entire McMahon family comes out, like Vince, Shane, Stephanie and Hunter, they all come out on Raw and say we haven't been doing a very good job of you. We're going to start listening to you. We're going to give you fresh matchups, fresh, opponents, stuff like that. Um, so it's basically just Authority 2.0.
Another authority angle.
Pretty much.
And which means they won't listen to the fans like they said they would.
Yeah, it gets even better on SmackDown, but on Raw we did learn that there will be some call-ups from NXT in the near future. EC3, Lacey Evans, Heavy Machinery, Nikki Cross, and Ross Sullivan are all coming to the main roster. They didn't specify which brands they would be on, but they are all getting called up relatively soon.
And a couple of them are RMP alumni.
Which ones?
Oh, I'm trying to remember who they are. Because that was really brought out. Just a second. I can find out. I think I can find out. I don't know what their WWE names are. Oh. I can't find it. But I know there's a couple. Actually, if I go to I don't know where it is. I'm looking. Um, yeah, now we got dead air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to figure it out while we're still talking. So,
I think I might know who you're talking about. Apparently Otis Dozovic of Heavy
yeah,
Machinery. was
Yes.
one of them.
There was one more. But hey, they're looking at the independents and everything, and congratulations to them.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the call-ups go, I think Nikki Cross could be good. It just depends on how they book her. If they put her with Sanity again, EC3, I really don't think he's going to do well. It's the same gimmick that we've seen a million times. There's really nothing special about him. Lacey Evans, I think it is way too early for her to be on the main roster. Or Sullivan, I think, could do well because of his size. Heavy Machinery, honestly, I think will actually be better on the main roster than NXT. I think main roster crowds are really going to get into them.
Well, let's hope so, that they're booked right.
Yeah.
And don't end up like AOP or the Revival.
I mean, it does seem like things might be going better for the Revival, because on Raw they officially became the #1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles.
Hey, all right for them. It's about time they started doing the Revival right. Or right by the Revival, however that saying goes. So, anything else interesting on Raw?
Kurt Angle and a bunch of Raw superstars defeated Baron Corbin. So Corbin is no longer officially GM. It was pretty much the same. It was pretty much the same thing as they did on TLC. It really wasn't anything special.
Yeah, because I know he lost.
Go on.
I know he lost to Braun, which means he lost his GM position.
Yeah, they pretty much just did the same thing again. Only Finn Balor and Braun Strowman weren't involved.
But everyone else got to beat up on Baron Corbin, huh?
Yep.
Ooh, that's kind of like you get beat out of a gang or something.
Yeah. And Dean Ambrose also had an Intercontinental Open challenge. He ended up facing Tyler Breeze.
I guess, well, Ambrose will probably retain for at least until the Rumble.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I could see him holding it until WrestleMania, maybe.
Yeah, that way you'd have a couple of good faces chasing the belt.
Yeah, I don't know who he would lose it to, but I think he will hold it until WrestleMania, maybe.
Well, he could have a nice title run with it.
Yeah.
He'll be able to do something, I think, with it. Instead of it won't be a part-time belt.
Right.
Like the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
Which I think now has become a joke.
Yeah, especially since Dean Ambrose continues to cosplay as Bane for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know why they want him to do that.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. This is custom to your strength, Seth Rollins.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Thanks.
So what about SmackDown?
Well, there was one final thing on Raw. They ended up doing this They ended up doing this giant Okay, first of all, does anybody else think Ronda Rousey comes off as the most insecure wrestler on the roster right now?
Yeah.
Like, all of her promos say, like, our real champion should be this, our real champion should be that. Like, give me a break. But yeah, anyway, they had this giant gauntlet match with most of the Raw women. Now, AA, you say that you didn't watch, right?
Right.
So, off the top of your head, and this match was to determine the number one contender for the Raw Women's title next week. So, off the top of your head, out of all the Raw women, who do you think won this match?
Who I think won it or who I wanted to win it?
Who you think won it?
Natalya?
Yeah, you guessed. You got the first guess right.
I'd like to have seen Sasha win it.
Same here, and it's like, look, I know it's a Christmas episode. I know that they're probably not going to put a lot of effort into it, but at the same time, who wants to see Natalya versus Ronda Rousey? Because I sure don't.
I don't either. They should. She's not. She's still too raw. No pun intended. Really, to be the
Yeah,
champion.
yeah, and that's just I don't want to see Natalya anymore. Like I don't care about Natalya. Like I know that sounds really harsh, but I've never been able to get into her.
I got into her when she teamed with Beth Phoenix. But that's about the only time. But I think that's mainly was because I like Beth Phoenix. So so what, next Monday they're supposed to have the match?
Yeah, next week is going to be a pretty big Raw.
Maybe I might watch it. Maybe.
Yeah, because let's see what's all planned for that. So next week on Raw, which is going to be the Christmas Eve edition of Raw, it's going to be Natalya versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title. Then it's Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin.
Poor Baron. He's going to get beat up again.
Then Finn Balor, Drew Zig. What did I just say? Drew Ziggler. It's going to be Finn Balor, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre in the triple threat match. Elias versus Bobby Lashley in a Miracle on 34th Street fight.
Not another one.
Yeah, another one. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team titles. And Paul Heyman celebrates the holiday segment.
Oh, I don't want to go through Paul Heyman.
Same here.
That's just depressing.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of depressing, Raw, Raw wasn't good, but you know what? It was better than SmackDown.
I'm kind of leery now to find out about SmackDown.
SmackDown was awful this week. It was completely terrible. Like, I hated SmackDown this week. I hated SmackDown this week. Like, I don't think I have hated an episode of SmackDown this much since the post shakeup episodes last year. That's how bad it was.
Oh wow, that is bad. What was bad about it?
Well, the very first segment of the show, they fired Paige as GM.
What reason did they give?
They didn't really give a reason. It's just they just said, "Well, Paige, you're no longer needed as GM." And like Shane McMahon, like is backstage giving this whole big speech, and he just says that thank you to our former GM Paige, and like Shane does say that she's still going to be on the show, just in a different capacity. But it's like, what else could she do? Because this isn't a Corbin situation, or even a Kurt Angle situation where she can just go back and wrestle. She can't wrestle anymore.
Right.
Like the rumor has it that she's going to be a kickoff panelist, but that's a waste of her, I think. Um, she could be a manager, I guess, but that would just I don't know. For me, it would just be too distracting. Really, the only option is just keep her on as GM and just pretend this never happened. Like Shane can just said, "Oh, I said formal GM, not former," or put her on commentary.
Yeah.
Like I know that people have said that Paige wouldn't be good on commentary because her accent is too thick and she tends to mumble all the time. You wouldn't be able to understand her. But you know what? I wasn't able to understand Coach, so I don't think this is really going to be that big of a deal.
Now, who can understand Coach anyway?
Yeah, exactly. So that first segment already makes it bad. It already makes it a bad show. It gets worse. So Becky Lynch comes out to the ring, and I'm like, okay, this can save the show. Becky gives a great promo. Charlotte comes out, gives a great rebuttal. Asuka comes out and boasts about being the champ. So far, so good. We're getting somewhere. Then Vince McMahon comes out and basically, I don't want to say bury Becky and Charlotte, but this really hurts them. This is basically an Authority era Stephanie segment where Vince basically trashes Charlotte and Becky, and they don't get a chance to fight back or say anything back or anything like that. They just have to stand there and take it.
Sheesh.
Like, it's nothing that they can't come back from, but at the same time, like, wow. You have the two biggest women on your roster, and you pretty much all but buried them. And it doesn't even make sense because, like, he basically says, like, you know what? If you have a problem with Ronda Rousey, you're going to have to take it up with her. Literally 3 minutes earlier, Becky was calling out Ronda.
Yeah, it's Authority 3.0.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets even worse a minute later because Naomi comes out to the ring, basically talks trash to both Becky and Charlotte. And because of that, apparently, she gets an immediate title match against Asuka. What did she do to earn a title match?
She didn't really do anything.
Pretty much. And honestly, the match was awful. It was terrible.
Well, I can imagine that. It does sound like I didn't miss much.
Yeah, and then we had a Samoa Joe apology to Jeff Hardy. And, God bless Jeff and Joe. They are trying their best, but this storyline, it's a storyline that we've seen again and again. Like it's basically Jeff's feud with Punk all over again. And they're not really doing anything new with it.
It's like Vince Russo said, cut and paste.
Yeah, basically. Then we have a mixed tag team match. And Miz says that he wants to team with Shane McMahon backstage to Vince. And Vince says that he'll find him a partner. And it ends up being Mandy Rose. And they take on R-Truth and Carmella. Now, R-Truth and Carmella just won the Mixed Match Challenge.
Right.
So guess who won this match?
Miz.
Yeah. Why even bother having Carmella and R-Truth win this whole big tournament if you're just going to do that literally 2 days later?
Because that's how WWE runs things.
Pretty much.
Huh.
Like it, and the payoff just, it doesn't make any sense. Like this whole handpicked, this handpicked partner. Like if you really want to kind of make an impact, if you really want to have this payoff, either have Miz just lose, or maybe even have Mandy Rose just abandon him during the match.
Yeah. But sheesh. But they just seem to do that. Like to chop them off at the knees once they've won something.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like R-Truth and Carmel are that credible of a team, but at the same time, like they just won a big tournament. At least book them with some respect.
Yeah. Any more rants on SD?
So the next thing was it was the Usos versus Gallows and Anderson, and then Sandy interrupts. So I don't know. This was one of the better parts of the show, but that's not really saying much. It's like, oh yeah, Gallows and Anderson and Sandy exist.
So, well, at least it's a fresh lineup if they bring Sanity in.
Yeah, I'll give them that.
I mean, it's better than seeing the Bar, the Usos, and New Day.
Yeah. And then the main event was AJ Styles and Mustafa Ali versus Daniel Bryan and Andre Cien Almas. And Selena Vega was in her ring gear for some reason. Don't really know why. She wasn't in the match on the show, and from what I understand, they taped SmackDown last night as well. I don't think she had a match on the tapings for that, but I don't mind seeing Selena Vega, so I don't have a problem with it.
Nah, you wouldn't.
But yeah, this was actually a pretty solid match. And the finish of the match was pretty interesting because Mustafa Ali pins Daniel Bryan clean.
All right, Ali.
And they also mentioned that Mustafa Ali is a new addition to the SmackDown roster. So he's officially part of SmackDown.
Well, with him pinning Daniel Bryan, that puts him in the running.
Oh yeah, totally. I would love to see them do a match at the Royal Rumble with Ali and Daniel Bryan for the title.
Oh yeah, that could be a great match.
Yeah. So yeah, SmackDown sucked. Like it was so bad.
Well, what about MOW?
Well, I do want to kind of plug next week's SmackDown
Oh, okay.
because they did announce a few matches for that one. They announced Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy. And they also announced Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev for the United States title.
Come on, Rusev, take it off of him.
Trying to think what else happened on there. What else they announced like in advance for it. I think it might have been just those two matches, maybe. Let me check real quick, because I don't know if it's I don't know if those are the only matches they announced or if they announced some more.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but I can't. I think that might be the only matches that they announced. Those two matches.
Now these are going to be pre-taped, aren't they?
Yeah, this is going to be next week's show on Christmas.
Yeah, so they're taping it.
Yeah, they taped it last night after SmackDown went off the air.
Ah, okay. That's what I thought, because they were giving everyone time to be off with their families.
Yeah.
Wow, they're actually being considerate.
Yeah. And I think they're also taping the New Year's show. I think like the week after Christmas or something like that.
Well,
I
yeah,
think it's gonna be, yeah, I think it's on like the 28th and the 29th.
yeah, because New Year's Day falls 1 week exactly after Christmas.
Yeah, so I think that just about does it for SmackDown. It's awful. Just awful. It's just terrible. Like one of the worst SmackDowns in quite some time.
It sounds like getting that from you with as much hatred as you put into it. That's strange for you.
Yeah, like I love how this is the episode that Mox isn't here for. The one with like the dripping with venom.
Yeah, but he's under the weather.
I'm sure he'll blame it all on Shadow.
He blames everything on that poor dog.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Shadow seems like such a sweet puppy.
Absolutely. And don't forget Elmo and Buster.
That's right. Gotta have Elmo and Buster. More sweet puppies. So let's segue into MWOs. Maybe that'll get you a little bit happier.
Yeah, it was actually better than SmackDown, actually. Because this was their live show, their first ever live show on beIN Sports.
So it went off without a hitch?
Yeah, Yeah, it was only 1 hour, so not everything that was on the card got shown. But overall, it was pretty good. The first match on the show, at least on the live event, was the middleweight championship match. Desmond Xavier versus El Hijo de LA Park versus. Trying to think who was all in that match. It's Carter Brazil versus Desmond Xavier versus El Hijo de LA Park versus Gringo Loco and a special fifth person, Teddy Hart.
Wow.
Yeah, Teddy Hart attacked Desmond Xavier on the way to the ring and pretty much inserted himself into the match, which would have made a bit of sense if Desmond Xavier didn't immediately come back into the match. And Teddy Hart just stayed out there. So it was just it was just kind of confusing. It probably could have been done a little bit better than it was. But with that said, it was a good match. It was pretty much sort of what you would expect from a ladder match like this. Um, Teddy Hart ends up winning the world middleweight title.
Oh.
So it's an interesting choice for champion. I would have put the title on a face personally. But Teddy Hart he's a good choice. I think he's really been stepping it up in the ring lately in MOW. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, hard work pays off.
Yep. Then we had Dragon Lee versus DJZ. This was a pretty good match. Like it was a high flying match. It was the match that you would expect from these two. It was a pretty fun little match.
A lot of flippy stuff.
Yeah, certainly. And then the main event. It's Roosh versus Rich Swann. And it was a really good match as well. I would probably say the best match on the show. And after the match, LA Park ended up showing up at ringside because it has been confirmed that on April 4th, WrestleMania week for MOW's big event that week, it's going to be LA Park versus Roosh.
No, since I've never seen Roosh in action. I've seen
He's
LA
great.
Park.
Roosh is great.
I'll have to look up some of his matches.
Yeah, I would say he's a pretty big name down in Mexico. He is part of Los Ingobernables in Mexico.
Uh-huh. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Ah, I heard a blip.
But yeah, he's part of Los Ingobernables in Mexico. So there's a pretty big name in Mexico. He just made his MLW debut about a month or so ago. I mean, if he could definitely be a top star for MLW.
Well, going back to hard work paying off. It really does, because then RMP, they crowned the youngest RMP champion, Rocky Mountain Pro champion, Atiba. And he's only, I think he's only about 3 or 4 months. He's really come into his own in the past 3 to 4 months. And he took out Tyler Stinson to win it. And no one thought he stood a chance against Tyler Stinson. Even most of the talent backstage didn't know how this outcome was going to go.
Yeah, like Rush was actually the founding member of Los Ingobernables in Mexico. And he was a founding member along with La Mascara and La Sombra, who some people may know better as Andre Cien Almas.
Right. Sometimes you have to give their other names for people to know them.
Yeah. So after that, LA Park and Rush got into it a bit, had to be separated by security. Then Loki comes out and taunts Filthy Tom Lawler, and Filthy Tom Lawler and Loki battle throughout the arena. As Tony Schiavone says his classic line, "Folks, we're out of time."
Oh, of course. He loves saying that. I think he lives for that.
So
But
next week, this week on MOW, it's going to be MOW Christmas Chaos, and it's going to be a continuation of 0 Hour. The only match that they've announced so far is Filthy Tom Lawler versus Simon Gotch in a no holds barred, no roped match.
that should be an interesting match.
I think so. Like they've had a bitter feud lately, so we'll see who will be having a happy holidays this Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, MOW's first live special was pretty good. I would definitely like to see them do more live specials like this.
Yeah. I think sometimes live specials are great, especially if you got a company who can put on a good show.
Absolutely.
It was like when I went to the RMP event last Saturday. Um, you know how it's hard for as old school as Taker's Minion is to be impressed by a show. He watched it and he was actually impressed by this show that of Charge that Rocky Mountain Pro put on.
Yeah, I think I remember him saying that it was a very old school kind of vibe for a show.
Yeah, because all the faces came out and celebrated Atiba for winning the belt, and it and then Rocky Mountain Pro got a new general manager.
Oh yeah, I remember you teasing it Sunday.
I was
Who
teasing
is the
it.
who is the general manager?
My boy.
My boy.
Yeah, he's going to clean up Rocky Mountain Pro, make it the cleanest wrestling promotion around. And he fired Tyler Stinson. It was funny how this came about. There was a while back in Rocky Mountain Pro where Stinson stole the belt from Curtis Cole. And Tyler was going around beating up everyone. And he ended up beating up my boy. Who's just a janitor. And Matt came out earlier in the show and was going to announce who it was, but he got interrupted by Tyler. And he says, well, I'll hold off and tell everyone at the end who my new GM is. Well, after Tyler lost the belt to Atiba, congratulations, Atiba. brought out Mop Boy, and he was trying to demand his rematch right then, right now. He wanted his rematch. And Mop Boy told him that basically, to summarize the words he used, for beating up janitorial staff, you're fired.
Ooh.
So it came back to bite him in the butt.
As a Curtis Cole fan, you must have been elated to hear that.
Oh, I was. I was elated.
Justice for Curtis Cole.
Justice. Yes. Besides, Tyler Stinson blocked me on Twitter. Because I said Curtis Cole was going to beat him in a match. But it was a great show. It was just an all-over show, but I was impressed that Taker was impressed with it. But that's what RMP is. They try to go more old school. So, it was just nice. Aligato kept her belt. There was a Lockett's championship title. Anaya kept his charge title. There was no Hoodie. So it was just Anaya by himself.
So Hoodie wasn't on the show?
Hoodie wasn't on the show.
Boo.
Yeah, it's just not the same without with the complete Left Coast Gorillas.
Left Coast Gorillas.
Yeah, Anaya and Hoodie, the Left Coast Gorillas. So pretty much, I would say of all the Rocky Mountain Pro shows I've gone to, this was by far the best I've seen.
Wow.
In my opinion, was even better than Milestone 8.
That's pretty big.
Oh, because no one knew about the ending. They even kept it from most of the talent, the backstage workers. Only a very select few knew how it was going to end. Even Joe didn't know how it was going to end. So I thought that was really cool that they could keep it under wraps. Their next big event is going to be on the 28th at the Rack House. And it's going to be for the Twitch Championship.
Oh, they have a Twitch championship?
Now they do.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. And let's see, Marty the Moth is going to be there competing for it.
Oh. Things are going to get crazy there.
Oh, yeah. He's really a nice guy if you don't look at his creepy character from Lucha Underground. But he's really a nice guy.
Yeah, because I remember him when he was on Tough Enough, the 2011 version.
He was?
Yeah, he was on the 2011 edition of Tough Enough, and I think if he didn't suffer an injury during filming, he probably would have won it.
So it's something to look forward to, and they're going to start it at 5 o'clock instead of the normal 10 o'clock. The wrestling match is going to start at 10. But starting at 5, they're going to be doing a lot of interaction with the fans.
Ah.
So as long as the weather holds up, I can go to it. I've got my ticket and everything. I'm all ready.
Nice. Hope you have fun.
Oh, I hope we have good weather for it, because I won't drive to Denver if the weather's bad. So, any other wrestling talk?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I really need to catch up on NXT because I haven't had the time to watch it lately.
Well, no, you've been busy with your wonderful job.
Yep. That and watching all the Starcades and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, because you have that coming up on Friday night, don't you?
Yeah, Ruthless Aggression Era podcast. We're going to be doing Great American Bash 2004. So that would definitely be interesting to say the least.
So I guess this is it for Violent Wrestling Podcast then.
I think so.
It goes so much longer when we have Moxie.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't really that much to talk about this week, I don't think, aside from that god awful SmackDown.
Yeah. So, where can they get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Melmat15, and also on K-Side Seats. Hang out in the daily and the nightly. And the nightly, I'm doing a Starcade series. Tonight, I took a look at Starcade 1989, and that was actually a pretty good show. It was pretty much a tournament-filled show, so that was pretty cool. And this Friday on Ruthless Aggression Era podcast, I will be taking a look at the Great American Bash 2004, which featured the main event of the first and I believe only Concrete Crypt match with The Undertaker versus the Dudley Boys. If The Undertaker refuses to lose, Paul Bearer will be buried alive in concrete.
Ah, that's interesting to know. Did they bury him alive in concrete?
Undertaker ended up winning the match, ended up scaring off Paul Bearer, ended up scaring off Paul Heyman, and ended up burying Paul Bearer in concrete anyway.
Yeah, Paul Bearer went through a lot.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for him at times.
Yeah. Especially when he was taken hostage by Edge. It was forced to eat a pepperoni pizza, had brownies stuffed in his ear, chicken wings dumped all over him, had dodgeballs thrown at him, got beat in a wheelchair race by Edge. Edge put him through hell in 2010.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Edge could be downright sadistic when he wanted to.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that was that Edge was supposed to be the face in that feud.
Well, I had a crush on Edge. I still do, kinda. especially now that he's letting his hair grow back out.
Oh yeah. Thank God he's doing that. Like he looks so much better with long hair. Same with Chris Jericho for that matter.
Edge had a lot of good stuff going on.
Totally. Totally.
And I'm going to give a shout out on Twitch TV to Shooting the Breeze, Two Guys, One Sport, Connoisseurs of Wrestling, Grounds for Development. And hopefully, guys, once we get our technical issues figured out, we'll be back on Twitch. I did talk to Matt Yaden about that, and they're still willing to host us, which I thought was nice of them. And you can get a hold of me on Twitter at Lady Roshana, LadyRoshana, or you can get a hold of me in the daily. It's Ambrose Alley. Sometimes I show up in the nightly. On Twitch, you can get me at Violent Wrestling Podcast, No G in Wrestling. If you want to send an email our way, you can send it to violentwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. There is a G in wrestling. I know it gets confusing, but sometimes things are too long, so we just cut the G off. Sometimes we can keep the G on. Or if you personally want to send me any hate mail or email or encouragement, send it to LDYSHIELD@gmail.com. And don't forget the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast Friday. You don't want to miss it. I know I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah, especially with that main event.
Yes. So I guess that's it for this time. When we do miss our Mox, get well, Mox.
Yes, get well, Moxie. I just know that Shadow will nurse you back to health.
Oh yes, good old Shadow. So, good night, everybody.
See ya.